I'm making a going second Gladiator Beast deck profile. I've been playing around with the control variant, and with Regeki being at 3, I kind of want to try a going second variant of it. So this is the going second experimental version of the deck. Whoops. Accidentally hit the tripod. Anyway. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom, just so that you try to negate anything your opponent would do that would involve sending cards from deck to grave, summoning a monster from the deck, or drawing cards. Then I play 3 copies of Test Tiger, just because it's an extender for Gladiator Beast, just by controlling a Gladiator Beast. And you can tribute itself to target one Gladiator Beast monster you control, shuffle into the deck, summon another Gladiator Beast monster from your deck that is treated as being summoned by the effective Gladiator Beast. That effect doesn't come up as often as the free summon does. Then I play 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit can banish itself as cost to then summon 2 level 4 normal monsters from your deck that are have the same name. And then Rescue Rabbit cannot be special summoned from the... I don't remember if it's... Okay, cannot be special summoned from the deck. I can't remember if it was deck or grave. You can only use this effect to Rescue Rabbit once per turn. Then I play 1 copy of Gladiator Beast Atorix, Bestiary, Quest. Atorix, when summoned by the effective Gladiator Beast, lets you send another beast to the graveyard to copy its name and level. Bestiary lets you destroy it. Your target opponent's power trap card and destroy it if it's summoned by the effective Gladiator Beast. And Request lets you get a Gladiator Beast card from grave back to your hand when summoned by the effective Gladiator Beast. I also play the 1 copy of Gladiator Beast Darius. When summoned by the effect of Gladiator Beast, Darius is a monster reborn for Gladiator Beasts, but negates the effect. Then for the Rescue Rabbit target, I play probably 3 of the most important cards, and that is 3 copies of Gladiator Beast Ondal. Just being a level 4 vanilla. It's actually kind of surprising how important Ondal is to this deck. Ondal is as important to this deck as Harpy Lady is to the Harpy deck, which I'm still working on. Then I play 1 copy of Vespasius and 2 copies of Augustus. Vespasius, when summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, increases the attack of all monsters you control by 500. And if a Gladiator Beast monster battles at the start of the damage calculation or damage step, you can special summon it, and then that'll trigger its own effect to increase its attack and boost effect. And then Augustus's effect lets you when summoned by the effective Gladiator Beast, lets you summon another Gladiator Beast from your hand. And all the Gladiator Beasts, with an exception to 2, I believe, share the effect at the end of the battle phase. If they battled, you can shuffle them back into the deck for cost to then summon more Gladiator Beasts to the field. Moving on to spells, I play 1 copy of Gladiator Beast United. This is just a card that lets you return fusion materials from your hand, field, or graveyard to the deck to then summon a fusion monster or Gladiator Beast fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And you can't attack that turn unless it's a Gladiator Beast monster. Then I play Harpy's Feather Duster to deal back row. 1 copy of Monster Reborn because Monster Reborn. This deck is technically playing 4 of it, 3 of which are searchable. Then I play the 1 copy of Called by the Grave to deal with hand traps, or cards like Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. Then I play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. Usually uses to draw 2 cards or take control of an opponent's monster. Which I'm also experimenting with Gladiator Beasts United because I do not have a mind, I think it's mind control. But if I had mind control, then I'd be playing mind control over Gladiator Beasts United. Then I play 3 copies of Gladiator Proving Ground. just being a reinforcement of the army for Gladiator Beast. Then I play 3 copies of Gladiator Beast's Comeback. This is a monster reborn that lets you bring back a Gladiator Beast that is a different type from the monsters you currently control, and prevents that monster from being destroyed in battle. So that you can have it attack something bigger, shuffle back into the deck, and summon another Gladiator Beast to get an advantage. Then I play 3 copies of Gladiator Rejection. I really like Rejection in this deck, mainly because of its effect that prevents your opponent from targeting your Gladiator Beasts unless it's the battle phase. And then if a Gladiator Beast is special summoned from your deck, then you can summon another Gladiator Beast as long as it's a different type from the monsters you control. Then to finish off the spells, I play 3 copies of Raigeki. This just destroys all your opponent's monsters. I like it because you can actually use it to bait out generic negates like Toad, for example. Then I play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just so that, because since you're going second, this is just another negation card. That is it for my Gladiator Beast main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. I play 1 copy of Link Spider so that I can at least have the option to try to play through cards like Nibiru. Because Gladiator Beast is one of those decks that, at least in my opinion, from playing the deck, will almost always walk right into a Nibiru. As long as you have an Ondal in your hand, when you get Nibiru, as far as I can tell, you can still play through it. Then I play 1 copy of Cross Sheep, just because if a fusion monster is in a zone it points to, then when you summon a monster that zone it points to, you can then Monster Reborn level 4 lower monster, and then just continue to link climb. Then I play 2 copies of Test Panther. Test Panther's effect is when it's link summoned, using 2 monsters, including a Gladiator Beast, so you can take control of an opponent's monster and then link off with it to make this. But when it's link summoned, you can take one. You can search your deck for a Gladiator Beast card, and then once per turn, you can target a Gladiator Beast you control, shuffle it back into the deck, and then summon another Gladiator Beast as if it was summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast. Then I play 1 copy of Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. Gets 1 counter for each monster used for its link summoning, with its link requirements being 2 or more monsters with different names. And then it gets 800 attack for each counter. And then if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can you can remove a counter to then... I just realized they may not get counters. My mistake. It gains 800 attack for each monster used for link summoning. I always have a die on it, so for some reason I always thought it was counters. But it gains 800 attack for each monster used for its link summoning, and then you can have it lose 800 attack to then negate that monster effect activation. The only downside of it is it doesn't destroy. Then I play the 1 copy of Boral Sword, just in case I need to wipe my opponent's life points immediately. Typically, I'll summon this if I realize time's about to be called, and I can make it and then go battle phase. Which I know is probably not the best strategy, but it works, unfortunately. I really don't like the new current time rules. Then I play 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Geysers. Geysers' effect is whenever it's summoned, target 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. And then at the end of the battle phase of battle, you can put it back in your extra deck to summon 2 Gladiator Beasts from your deck. Then I play 3 copies of the best fusion monster in the deck, in my opinion, and that is 3 copies of Gladiator Beast Tamer Editor. Editor's effect is once per turn, you can special summon 1 Gladiator Beast fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. And that effect is not a hard once per turn, so as long as you can keep getting rid of it and bringing it back with cards like Monster Reborn or Gladiator Beast Comeback, you can keep doing it. Generally, when I do this, I can end up with a 5 or 6 monster negate board with a 2 or 3 spell negation. So it seems to be pretty much do what you need to, with the main strategy being going second, break your opponent's board, and then build up your own board that they can't break. Then I play the 1 copy of Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. This card lets you discard 1 card whenever your opponent would activate a spell or trap card and negate and destroy it. I just love this card because it's not a once per turn or even once per chain effect. You can actually, as long as you have cards in your hand, you can keep discarding to negate. Then I play 3 copies of Gladiator Beast Domitianus. I only play 3 of this because I do not have, what was it called? Gladiator Beast Esadarius, whatever it is. The fusion monster on the chariot. That just requires 2 Gladiator Beast monsters. If I had that, I'd be using one of those over the 3rd Domitianus. But I like Domitianus just because it is this deck's boss monster, being 3,500 attack. If your opponent activates a monster effect, you negate the activation if you to destroy it. And during the opponent's battle phase, if they declare an attack, you get to choose the attack target. The best part is that is not an activation effect. So your opponent has a card in play that negates all activated effects. You still get to choose the attack target because it doesn't activate. However, cards like Skill Drain that just negate all effects do stop the effect. But that is it for my Gladiator Beast deck profile. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck for going second, or decks you'd like to see me make, or even decks you'd like to see face each other, feel free to comment those below. Thanks for watching.